6:03 on Friday morning, November 15th. 43 degrees, some rain in spots, clearing later, highs in the upper 50s. Good morning, I'm Michelle Basch.
I'm John Aaron. The top local story we're following this hour, a reward is being offered for information after multiple cases of anti-Semitic graffiti in Bethesda. We get the latest from WTOP's Kyle Cooper.
The three incidents have gone 3 months without being solved. All three happened in August. Someone spray-painted hateful messages on Bethesda Elementary School, a Starbucks on Norfolk Avenue, and at Congregation Beth El on Old Georgetown Road. The graffiti was removed by community groups and the school system. Now, several groups have gotten together and raised a $7,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest and prosecution in these cases. If you know anything that might be helpful, you're asked to contact Montgomery County Crime Solvers, and your tip can be anonymous. Kyle Cooper, WTOP News.
They say it's taking longer for fire and EMS workers to respond to emergencies. WTOP Scott Gelman tells us community members are speaking out about the implications of a plan that reassigned first responders across Prince George's County.
We just voted asking to approve bonds to build more firehouses, but we can't staff the ones we have.
Here at the Prince George's County Council building, first responders and community members like Valerie Solinsky are begging leaders to change their approach. It's been about 5 months since Fire Chief Tiffany Green reassigned fire and EMS workers to help address staffing shortages.
The staffing reallocations yielded significant downward trends in the number of mandatory holdovers and callback hours personnel worked.
But things aren't getting any better. Green says they have the lowest starting salary in the region, and recruiting and retaining fire and EMS workers remains a challenge. It's leaving local leaders like Mount Rainier Council member Danielle Carter feeling helpless.
This problem, as I have seen for over a decade here, is a need for more EMTs here in PG County.
In Largo, Scott Gelman, WTOP News.
The Washington Commanders just couldn't make an early lead stick last night. They fall to 7-4 on the year after the loss to the Eagles in Philadelphia.
Aw.
Yeah, it was a big game.
Yeah.
The Commanders drop a game and a half behind Philly for the lead in the NFC East. We will go in depth on what went wrong with Dave Preston coming up at 6:15.
Well, the district is ready to put up more than $500 million to help with renovations and a makeover of Capital One Arena. WTOP's John Doman tells us D.C. Council debated the project, and it focused on who would get to do the work.
The tug-of-war plays out repeatedly around the region. Union labor versus small businesses that are not unionized but are locally owned and often by minorities. Marcus Jackson is with the Associated Builders and Contractors of Metropolitan Washington.
CBEs that sign POAs are setting themselves up for financial disaster.
But in this case, Deputy Mayor Nina Albert says there's an agreement from the unions not to bid on 40% of trade work.
The areas and the trades that are being set aside for unionized shops are ones where we don't have a lot of CBE presence.
The goal is to avoid what happened with the construction of the new Douglas Bridge, where most of the work was done by people who don't live in D.C., and only one resident of Ward 8 where the bridge is. At the Wilson Building, John Doman, WTOP News.
It looked like a yummy chocolate drink mix. It was part of a shipment that arrived at Dulles Airport from Guatemala last month. Turned out to be hiding 10 bricks of cocaine. Customs and Border Protection officers found 28 pounds of cocaine in between layers of coffee grounds and chocolate bars. On the street, that would be worth about $900,000. Investigators couldn't directly link the coke to the courier who brought it in, so that person was not charged. They were sent back to Guatemala.
Coming up on WTOP, we'll tell you why a major fast casual food chain has been slapped with a class action lawsuit. Traffic and weather in 30 seconds.